Welcome to Toffee TV. It is Daily Live Extra. Let's get into it. We still haven't got
What was that?
That's me.
Land on a plane.
That's how I get into it.
Is that how you get into it?
That's how I get into it. Not saying what it is, but that's how I get into it. I'll tell you what it is. It's me.
I'm sure you don't tell me while you're
Box of chocolate biscuits.
That's it, straight in.
Just lift the lid up. Yeah. Duncan Ferguson's just done an interview with Everton.
Yeah.
YouTube. It's on YouTube. Very passionate, very focused, very determined. Knows what the job is. Know what he needs to do. Focused on the next few games. He's not looking past that. And if he can't inspire players by his words, then these players will never be inspired.
No, by words or intimidation and aura. Now, listen, these players we said it before, some of them have let down 6 or 7 managers. And they need
Only one of them's let down 6 or 7 managers. 2, maybe 6.
Okay, they've let down more than one. Let's put it that way. Some have let down 3. And so they have to have a look at themselves and start being accountable for their actions. I think we said it yesterday on something, is that they've had their protective shield removed on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it was, Sunday, wasn't it? With Rafa Benitez, they had the big reason that they could go, well, not me, it's him.
Yeah.
You know, now that's gone.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, it's you want to say a fresh start, but it's certainly a reset for the season, because we've only had Benitez all season and people couldn't get enthused by that at all. And I think a lot of people are enthused by having Duncan back in the dugout at the weekend and being able to do what he likes to do, and we'll get a proper glimpse of a manager managing the team through the game. We see other managers coaching their team, and Benitez, I'm not saying he didn't do it, because he does stand on the line, but I think the passion and the instruction from Duncan will not only be felt by the crowd but by the players as well, and we need some shot in the arm, this team, because they're looking last week at Norwich, they just looked sorry for themselves. They looked like that club that are like, this is a bit crap now. You've lost a bit of interest on that downward spiral, losing games, and where games just roll one into the next one. You see teams do it. Yeah. And hopefully this will be the opportunity to stop that in the tracks. It'll be a tough game. We've said it all week. But like I've said, it's a game I firmly believe Everton can win.
Yeah, and in the meantime, obviously Everton are talking to some people. I don't think there's any real fresh news on it, but obviously Everton are talking to people. Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney. Cannavaro's name's come up today, but again, that's just thrown maybe a name at the wall. But do you think at this stage what it is at the moment is, certainly with people like Lampard and Rooney, it's having those initial conversations, not an interview, just an initial conversation, and see what whether those people are interested, what those people would do, what those people want, what those people feel he could do with the job, and where they could go with the job, rather than going into because ultimately at this stage you want to gauge how serious people are towards the Everton job. You don't want time wasters, do you? Obviously Roberto Martinez, the name has now come and gone. He wanted it, Everton wanted him, but obviously he wants the World Cup as well, so, and I think we're all a little bit relieved by that, but it does leave us in that situation where the people at the club probably once again don't know who they really want. I mean, I'm staggered that they had a name straight away that they thought was they going to be their number one, even though it was clearly unachievable with the way they wanted to do it. But do you think it's just a case now of feeling a few names out for the over the next 3 or 4 days?
Yeah, I imagine so. I think the thing with Martinez, obviously Bill Kenwright speaks to Martinez, I imagine, regularly. And maybe he said in passing, but do you fancy doing it on an interim basis? And Martinez was like, yeah, you know, we can get it sorted. Maybe thinking there's only one friendly between now and the end of the season. And maybe that's where that come from. Because all the stories that are out are Everton were only ever interested in him till the summer. And then they were going to look for a permanent manager. And maybe that's why Managerial was like, well, yeah, if you can do the job till the summer. Very much like the way Allardyce did. Everyone knew Allardyce was coming in, but we knew really he was going to be gone in the summer. And I think maybe that's why Martinez jumped to the front of the queue, because they thought he was interested in doing it on an interim basis. Maybe they thought the Belgian FA would be all right with it because it was one game. I think there's only got one friendly, or there's only one international break or something. But Everton isn't a job share. Everton's a huge job. It's a huge job. It's a mess, and it shouldn't be a mess. Because even if we hadn't achieved great results on the pitch, we should have a structure in place that is heading that way. After the amount of time he's been here, I was just telling you then, I listened to Dan Ashworth on the Training Ground Guru podcast, and I think it's from just over a year ago. And not because he was linked with Everton yesterday, just because I know he's done a good job at Brighton, but I just wanted to hear what things he'd put in place. And it's brilliant. He speaks really well, and it's really insightful. You just look at Brighton have done that, and you just think, how have Everton still not been able to put something in place that is that? Even if because Brighton, let's have it right, Brighton's results on the pitch aren't amazing.
Oh no.
You know, they've had 2 16th place finishes, I think, in the last under Potter, and this year they're in the top half of the table. Will they stay there? Don't know. It's the reality. Everton have got games in hand on them, not that far, you know, so we don't know. But everything off the pitch seems to be going in the right direction. And yet we haven't even got a director of football.
But that's the right thing, though, isn't it? Everything is going in the right direction.
Yeah.
On the pitch when you watch them. Because I wanted to come on to Dan Ashworth, because obviously that was the story we featured last night on the news. Everything's going in the right direction. They are building something. Everybody can see they're building something, because Dan Ashworth and Graham Potter are being allowed the time. You talk about it last season, and everybody they had an XG of a top 4 side, which basically meant if they had a top,
they had Dominic Calvert-Lewin,
a top 4 striker, they would have gotten the top 4 basically. This season they look similar, although they do look a little bit sharper. They sold the centre back for 50 million, and yet it hasn't really dented them. So, you know, you look at them and you look how they're bringing in players, and then they move them out, put them on loan, and then they bring them back in later, and they bring players in, like you say, you watch them and you go, where did he come from? You know, I didn't hear him, or he come in for 5 million, or even if they come in for like 20 million, whatever. They're building something there. And I think if Everton wanted Graham Potter feels unachievable for Everton, which is mad. It feels unachievable. You know, I've seen a few people, I know Don Hutchinson is absolutely hot on this one. He's like, you know,
Danny Mills has as well.
He's the man. He's the up and coming manager, and it's not fake. It's not a fluke. He's real. But if Everton wanted him and did look in that direction, you'd have to get Dan Ashworth as well. You'd have to bring a fella in to work with them. So number one, Graham Potter wasn't isolated as the Everton manager, because I think he will be a little bit of a fish out of water because of the way it is. If you brought a Dan Ashworth in as well, you brought Dan Ashworth in, not a Dan Ashworth, the Dan Ashworth. The Dan Ashworth. You've got then a partnership, very much like Monchi and Emery. That kind of bringing having people who work with each other,
which is what we tried to do. Managerial tried to do the minute he got in the door. So why hasn't he followed it?
So if you got those two, and listen, I'm not asked what anyone says. I think that's a very achievable thing to do. I really do. The money this fella throws around.
Yeah.
If he's got the dough he says he is, he'll go after Dan Ashworth. The money they throw around. But the problem is, it's not about the money. It's about selling. Dan Ashworth and Potter are two of the most highly respectable and wanted people in football at the moment. Newcastle went after Dan Ashworth to do what we'd like him to do. Graham Potter will be Well, you've heard him linked with Manchester City.
Yeah.
That's how highly rated this fella is as a coach and as a manager. And I think if you could get those two together and you actually just said, we're walking away, lads. You look after
Get
it.
on with it,
You get on with this. You do what you need to do. You put people in place. Then you're on the right track. And as I said, Brighton people might look at Brighton and go, what Brighton? This is Brighton. This is not a Premier League club in our generation, in our era. This is a club that have come into the Premier League in the last 5 years and are moving up and up and up. And when you play Brighton now, you don't go, soft, easy game. Everyone goes, tough game. Good team. Keep working, keep playing till the end. Showed that the other night against Chelsea again. 1-0 down. Got a goal latish. You know, and that's twice they've done that to Chelsea. Beat us. Went to Anfield 2-0 down and drew 2-2. Should have won the game. This is a very good side. He's made players who were probably not seen as Premier League players into very good Premier League players, or a very good team, and that's really where Everton should be looking. In fact, we should be really banging the drum for that. But I think we won't bang for the drum for that because I think we just feel like it's out of reach, it's unachievable. Because who wants to work in the rubble of this football club? Whereas really you'd be thinking 2.5 years to a new stadium. You start building it now with a fella like Dan Ashworth and Graham Potter going into a new stadium for a club like Everton. I think an appointment like that, I'd like to think an appointment like that would re-energise the ownership to say, do you know what, this has gone stale and I can't really be arsed with this. If you were going into a new stadium with those people, I think it could re-energise them and re-energise them where they just go, let's leave it to you lads because I think you've got it. So I think that's what we should be doing. I don't think we will do that. No. Sadly. We'll do it separately, so we'll bring a manager in, and then we'll look to bring a director of football in, and it'll all be out of sync, and that's what basically started this whole process, bringing in a manager and then bringing in a director of football, and those two fellas not really getting on and not really understanding what their relationship was, and that started all this chaos in the first place. That's where it started. Koeman and Walsh. That was the problem, and that's where we are now.
No, you're right. You're right. RCO2 says Kovac should 100% be the next manager. He took 2 teams in our position into Europe, and even when he was at Bayern, he won a double in his only full year there. But he did get booted out of Bayern because the players didn't like him, and he got sacked at Monaco. So
apparently he got sacked at Monaco for basically trying to win games of football, apparently. He was playing players that the club wanted to sell, apparently, and it went against
what they wanted.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Apparently,
Everton Viking says feels like we keep making the same mistake after mistake when it comes to managers. None of the other names other than Rooney or Duncan gets me excited at all. They've all had the same effect as those before them. It's time for a different method. None of them excite me, and by the sounds of Duncan, won't even get it either. Kovac's a decent manager who'd have short-term success, but before the players eventually turn on him because he's standoffish and aggressive management style with no affinity to the club or man management style. None of the other names other than Rooney. Oh yeah, that's just the same thing. RCO2 says from the sounds of Duncan's interview, he either doesn't want it or he knows he's not going to get it. So what does he do now? Personally, I think he should go manage a team and prove he's good like Potter.
I think
Duncan wants it,
and I just realised we're both wearing the same hoodie.
Yeah,
available in the shop right now. I just think from watching that interview, he's just being himself. He's just being coy about the situation and saying, "I'm focusing on what is happening right now, and the club will make that decision." And he's. I think you start saying, "I want the job, I want the job, I want the job," then it's like, well, might put extra pressure on everybody that doesn't need to be there. It's up to the club to sort out. He's got to get, if he gets results if he gets a couple of games or 2-3 games and the results go well,
the pressure's on the board.
And they've got it wrong that many times. I'm not sure the fans will let them get away with it this time. So
yeah, I don't. It's Duncan. Duncan definitely wants it. Whether he wants to come out and publicly nail those colours to the mast is a different thing. He's saying all the right things that you would say. You know, they've asked me to do these 3 games and I'll do them and all that. Doesn't mean he doesn't want the job. So results dictate, don't they? Results dictate. So let's hope on Saturday he can get a result. Stephen Kuhn says, Duncan Ferguson, can't wait till Saturday, just give him the job. We don't need a Tory, thanks. No. Okay. Craig Taylor says, with Duncan in charge, how nice is it to wake up in the morning and not instantly think, I'm an Everton fan. Mark says, any news on Dobbin, lads? Get the feeling he's a goner. No, I'm not really.
I'm not really asked.
No, he's not really. Satoshius for breakfast says, how Dunk hasn't been given the job full time is beyond me. And Contact says Dunk said he's not taking the job, just temporary. I honestly, Duncan, if they offered Duncan Ferguson a job, he would bite their hands off. Carl says, after rewatching part 2 interview with yourselves and Big Dunk, I'd be happy if he was given the job full time to steady the ship and let the ball build a structure for our club. Big Duncan, one of our own, says Tricky. Steve P says, does it scare you to think that some of these players will be given yet another chance? This will be Keane's 7th manager in 5 years. Now, won't it? People like him and Iwobi need to be sold immediately.
It's up to Everton to get them out the door, isn't it? Up to Everton to replace them. It's not. I don't think when you say given another chance, I mean, what are the options? Well, he might start Ben Godfrey with Mina, but he might start Ben Godfrey left back and say this isn't the time to bed someone in at left back. So I need the strongest defence I can get this weekend. Yeah. He might say I'll play Godfrey at left back, but I'm going to play Patterson at right back because he might think he's actually more ready for the Premier League. I don't know. I'm just saying. Saying. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? He could go.
Decisions to make.
He could go to it with that back four that sort of got us out of trouble last year and got us point. He could put Holgate in at right back for all we know. You don't know, do you? No. You might look at it and go, what got us points on the board last season? What got us out of trouble? That solid defence. Like saying yesterday about going back to defending set pieces the way we did last year and getting rid of the zonal. Going back to what he knows, not what someone else knows. You know, he's got to make decisions. Keane, we said this the other day, Keane continues to get chances because he's the only one who doesn't get injured. For 6 years, he has stayed pretty injury-free. Yeah. So therefore, he plays games of football. Mina would be in every week, and you'd want him to be with Godfrey. They've played, twice together, once together, or something like that. Yeah. So Keane plays games because he gets injured. Now the job is to do is to go.
He doesn't get injured.
Doesn't get injured. Yeah. Now the job is to bring in a really good centre back who can play every week, and it not be Michael Keane. That's the job. It's not about chances. It's about what we've prioritised. And yes, it was very foolish to give him a 5-year contract, but
what can you do?
That's Everton Football Club.
Toffee 9 says, hey guys, Toffee from Australia. Think Dunk till the end of the season and then see. I like the idea of Rooney and Timmy back at the club. Will be fantastic in any role. He's a winner. Chris Warby says, just watch the Big Dunk Everton interview. Gave me goosebumps. Richard Beale says, Ferguson, Baines, Eberl, what's wrong with that? Had Rooney in the summer and we're away. Eugene says, Sky Sports reporter claims Vita Pereira will be part of the managership. He's just mentioned every single time we go for a manager, isn't he? Kevin says, seeing the interview Everton put out with Big Dunk, he's up for it and he's got the team up for it. Get behind him and the team, lads. It's dogs of war time. Adam says, Saturday, it's Fergie time. Dan Stewart says, we need to find our own Potter. No guarantees he could create the same culture at Everton.
No, but
he's done it at Ostersund's, done it at Swansea, done it at Brighton.
I appreciate that, but how do you find your own Potter? Graham Potter is like from the new generation of coaches, educated, gone through multiple lower league teams, went to Scandinavia. I think he won a league. Was it in Sweden? Did he win a league?
He done well. He must. Yeah.
Did he win a league? Or did very, very well.
Did well.
Come back over here. Went to Swansea.
Did all right.
Then it's gone.
He got a culture going.
And then took the next step. Very, very quickly, by the way. Brighton jumped on him. very, very quickly. Went to Brighton, who are a small club. Doesn't matter what you say, they're a small club. The next step would be for a club like Everton, and ultimately he'll end up at one of the top clubs.
Yeah, he will.
But I don't know how do you find your own Potter? Surely some right. Graham Potter manages Brighton. Everton are a step up. We're a bigger club. It doesn't matter what anybody says in the world. We are a bigger club. We should be knocked. That's how football works. You should be, for players and managers, they're always looking to take the next step up. We're the next step from Brighton. I'm not asked what the table says. We are the next step. If we are run properly, if we have someone like Ashworth, don't get me wrong, he'd be mad to jump. He would be mad to come to Everton right now under the circumstances of Everton Football Club. Mad. But with Ashworth, I think it would make sense. But he'd be mad otherwise. But very much like if he stayed at Everton for 4 or 5 years, other clubs, Champions League clubs, if we win in Champions League, come call, and then you'd expect the same with players. You can't begrudge players an opportunity or a manager opportunity to go to a bigger club if the club they're at are not doing it. Say it about everyone. You couldn't, when Lukaku went to Man United, no one could honestly, hand on heart, say, why is he going there? You know, the same with
some Villa fans did about Grealish, though. Why is he going to City?
No,
but they're just
mad.
Yeah.
And it's great in hindsight going, well, what's he done that for? Same way when you look at Ross Barkley and you go, see. It's like, yeah, but players want to challenge themselves. It's no different to if we bought a player off a team in the Championship and it never quite worked out. Then they could go, well, he shouldn't have really gone there. But it's exactly the same thing, isn't it? But look at someone like Tim Cahill. You know, he left Millwall to challenge himself, come to Everton and ends up playing in 4 World Cups. You know, that, and he could have gone somewhere else. So you can't turn around to John Stones now and go, you shouldn't have left Everton. Or you can't turn around to Wayne Rooney and go, should have stayed at Everton, mate.
Not a chance.
You should have stayed at Everton. Careers are short. We were talking about this yesterday, me and Ned. Saying the difference between a manager and footballer is actually as a manager you get more time. So you could get Wayne Rooney, he could be at Everton for 10 years and he still wouldn't be 50. And then he could go somewhere else, like Manchester United say. And it's the same with Graham Potter. Graham Potter could come to us now. He might feel like, actually, I'm ready for that next step. I'm ready for that extra bit of pressure. I'm ready for a club that if I do what I'm good at, I could get them where they need to be. But he's still a relatively young man. He could spend 10 years with Everton and still go to somewhere like Manchester City or whatever. So,
no, you're right. We've just got to make sure we make the right decision.
But if there was loads of Graham Potters out there, Graham Potter wouldn't be special.
Well, of course he wouldn't. Dean Spicer on the super chat, nice one, Dean, says maybe Duncan could be our next Moyes.
Yeah, maybe.
Say it, isn't it? Toffee Badge, no point. Simon Jones says excellent interview on Sky, Badge. You would not be baited. No, they're not baiting me, mate. No. Niall says the buy-in side won the European Cup when they booted Kovac out. And he was rubbish with Croatia as well.
And they brought the assistant manager in.
Chris Warby says just watch Big Dunk interview. When you listen, you actually believe what he's saying. Chris Anderson says, very jealous I won't be at Goodison on Saturday, saying the Big Dunk interview. It's nice to see a manager thinking of the team and not their own ego. Paul McLaughlin says, if Everton are not going to offer Dunk the job and they are decided on a permanent manager coming, then it has to be Rooney. People like Cannavaro, people like Pereira, people like Kovac.
Cannavaro's not.
If you can't get Potter,
Cannavaro's not.
Would it be Rooney for you if it isn't Dunk?
I think it all. I don't know what they're waiting for. Whether they're waiting for Saturday to see what happens, how the team plays, what the reaction is, what the fan base thinks at the moment. They've got the 2 weeks after that. They've got 2 games quickly after another home game, then a game against Newcastle, which means they don't have to. But I can't picture a Lampard being in charge of Everton.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't it just doesn't seem to fit, does it?
No.
Doesn't seem to be the right fit. After what I know people go, oh, you're not another one. You're not, it's not that. It's just like after all the managers we've gone through, and does Frank Lampard really strike anyone as the man to come in and really grab hold of Everton?
He just seems so London to me, and I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but
He's definitely London.
But I just see him at a London-based club rather than up here with us. I don't know. I mean, he went to Derby and he did well at Derby. I don't know. Is the answer?
He's his own man. I understand. I'm not. As a footballer,
he could be good. I don't know.
As a footballer man, he seems to be a good thinker of the game and all that kind of thing. I don't know. I just can't picture it. I don't get that feeling. But I don't know whether I just.
Who's your identify? It's identifying with people, isn't it? None of us identified with Benitez, did we? Let's be honest. Even if you thought you might do all right, none of us identified with him. No. You didn't look at him on the touchline. You weren't inspired. You didn't listen to his interviews and go, oh, absolutely superb. You might have gone, he makes sense what he's saying there.
To his interviews?
No, well, fair enough. But I did, just to see what he was saying. And sometimes I thought, yeah, I understand what he's saying here, but there was no inspiration from him. Yeah. We weren't all praying for him to be good, were we? Other than wanting Everton to win. Lampard, I would back him fully. Young manager. He's had to go at Chelsea. He's had to go at Derby, but he doesn't inspire me. He doesn't make me go, oh, yeah, Frank Lampard be amazing. I think I was reading something about him last night that a couple of journalists in London were talking about his time at Chelsea, and it was likes to play on the front foot, which is good, but you're wide open at the back, and that was why he didn't marry up at Chelsea. Certainly in the second season, he couldn't solve that, and that's why he was sacked. Yeah. Not to say he could put them and we're wide open, but others seem to fit. Maybe for me, I'm just bored of managers coming in and you just want you to do well, but there's no connection. Maybe Everton just right now do need that connection of Ferguson, or they need a connection of Rooney. Maybe that's what we need right now. But again,
to be honest, I know what we need right now. But he's the manager of West Ham.
Well, yeah, but he's also 60.
No, I know.
Right? What I'm saying, I'm not ageist, but we've just chased the 61. Well, I'm not, am I? Because I've some up Lucien Favre, who's 64.
No, what I mean is, though, what I mean by that, though, is what I mean by that is, a David Moyes is I know people may not agree, but to me, I just go, he'll sort it out.
No, I know.
And that's all I want.
That's because you know what that is, right? That's because
it's proven.
It's proven. His track record's there.
He's done it at West Ham.
No, his track record's there. And he's an Evertonian. Loves Everton. Yeah, Everton will be the club that he always associates with after it. He'll be back to Everton because that's his club, and he goes when he can and all that, which is more difficult now. He's back at West Ham manager, but he was around Goodison a lot and wanted the job twice. He wanted the job in the summer, and Everton should have really just gone, you can have it then. You know, that's why do you think he stalled for 4 weeks on a contract? Because he wanted the job. But if we give it to Rooney or to Ferguson, I think one thing that's really key is getting the right people in for them. Then.
Of course.
Because it won't just fall on them. You've got to, if you put the right team, they can almost become the cheerleader for it. With your, I'm saying, Rooney might be unbelievable, but he's still only just out the game.
Only young, isn't he?
Dunk might be unbelievable in terms of getting you up and work rate and all that. And we know we've sat with Duncan off camera and listened to his ideas, and he's a thinker of the game.
Yesterday,
isn't he? Well, exactly, yeah. But if you then get other people in with their ideas, I think the biggest strength you can have as a manager, and I don't think Ancelotti or Rafa Benitez did this, Ronald Koeman certainly didn't do this, is tap in to what is around you. So if you're the manager and you've got 4 coaches around you, or 3 coaches, you should be tapping into all of them. And so you come up with a common denominator, a common game plan. Yeah. And I don't think, I know Rafa Benitez wasn't like that. He wasn't even listening to his mate Paco.
What I meant by Moyes though more was it's more just that thing of it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. It's
safe, isn't it? Yeah. In your mind, it's safe. Yeah, it's he'll even if the results are crap for a couple of weeks, I know in 3 weeks it'll be sorted.
It'll be sorted. He'll get the 6-7 wins to.
Just pause one second. Nicholas, Moyes won't leave West Ham. We're just saying But just saying right now, that's what it's because we've had it before. It would have been sensible.
He won't leave.
In the sun's not going to leave West Ham.
He's not going to leave West Ham. I'm just saying that's the kind of thing you want, though. I think if
Nicholas, sorry, we're not saying Potter to leave Brighton right now either. He certainly wouldn't, given Everton's structure. Carry on. Apologies.
I'm not 100%
Unless
sure
you give him the money.
I think if you got Ashworth, I think you'd...
No, if you get Ashworth, I think currently in the stuff. But anyway, go on.
No, I think it's more of a case of like the feeling of like knowing that someone will come in and do a good job. It's like, to be funny, it's not the same feeling, but it's like when we got Allardyce. I just thought it's going to be all right. We'll do this season's written off. We'll get through it. We'll get the wins, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Moyes is Allardyce, but what I mean is, he's the one that you could go, this is a mess, and you know he'd get it back on track. You know he'd get it pointed in the right direction, and then maybe someone else takes over, as long as it's not Roberto Martinez. Someone else takes over and just keeps it going in that direction, and adds what they need to it. But I think Moyes would just keep it in the direction it needs to go in, and I think that's what we all thought in the first season of Martinez, that it was going in the same direction, but it had all the bells and whistles on it, and it was what Martinez then decided to take it off that direction, and it's been going literally round in circles since. But I think that's what I'm saying about Moyes. That there doesn't seem to be anyone else out there where you feel like that. Everyone else is a bit of a risk because the club is so fractured, and it really does need put in the right direction. And that's a very difficult thing to do when a club's got no identity, and the people who run it aren't aiding you in any way. And that's the top and bottom of things. Let's not forget that, and that's why I keep saying about Graham Potter, he'd have to come with someone like Dan Ashworth, and then you'd have to say to someone like Dan Ashworth, run this club,
get
mate.
what you want in.
Run this club.
Potter wouldn't work at the moment. If he come on his own, it wouldn't work.
No, because it wouldn't work. And the good thing about now is because it is such a ghost ship.
Yeah,
and
you
because
can almost put the procedures
because there are so many positions to fill in the club that
you can shape it yourself.
You can shape it yourself, yeah, as long as the people at the top stay out of it.
Let me read this, yeah. Aaron Moore. Might annoy a few people, but I wouldn't want Dunk long term with the current structure. He's a Mr. Chairman guy, and I know he has his own ideas, but his relationship with Bill Kenwright could be an issue. Do you want to answer that?
I totally disagree. Because Duncan is Duncan.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I don't think his relationship is great with Mr. Chairman, to be honest. But I think he's very respectful.
I think you could have a relationship with Bill Kenwright. I think he might be the nicest man in the world. I've never said he's not the nicest man in the world. He just can't run football clubs. Proof's in the pudding. Man can't run football clubs. Honestly, he can't, though, can he? And I think the sooner he realises that, and I think someone like Tim Cahill, I've mentioned this yesterday, Tim Cahill could come in and give him a little whisper and say,
Bill, step aside, lad.
Bill, it's in good hands. I'm here whenever tell
yeah.
Let me run it, but let me be part of the people who help shape this club. You can go. That's Bill Kenwright's biggest problem. He feels like if he lets this club...
No, he does.
If he moves away from this club...
It'll collapse.
But at the other way as well, though.
Or it could go too
well. It could be amazing.
And then
he's not part of it. And he's not part of it.
Be the life president, for God's sake. Be the match day mascot.
But
not the
I think Duncan is far too his own man to worry about what...
What I would say is if Bill Kenwright and Duncan Ferguson's relationship was that good, right?
Yeah, why wouldn't you have to...
Duncan would already have the Everton job. He'd have had it years ago.
Yeah.
Because Bill, we know this, Bill has gone back to other people. He pushed hard for David Moyes in 2019 because he knew him. I think he probably liked the idea of Arteta in 2019.
He's just been chasing...
He's chased Martinez because he likes him. He's never... Duncan's in the building. If he was really down to Kenwright, if their relationship was great, I'd go the other way. I'd say maybe Bill appreciates Dunk, but maybe their relationship isn't brilliant because Duncan is anything but a yes man. No, anything but a yes man. And because it must be out there, because otherwise he would have it. If Bill Kenwright, he would have it. Yeah. So I think it was the other way, Aaron, to be honest. I don't know, but I think it's more likely to be the other way, whereas Kenwright doesn't want it, because Duncan is his own man, as Ped said before.
Definitely.
He's his own man.
Definitely.
Richard Beale says Duncan's a great game manager, but he's no long-term strategist. How do you know, though? And you've gone, Rooney could bring that aspect. You never know till you try. But all I would say, Richard, and I'm not... Listen, you may well be right here, but all I would say is there is zero evidence that that is a true statement, because he's never had the opportunity, so you don't know if he's a long-term strategist. When you're put in charge of a team for a few weeks, because you know they're trying to get someone in, not you. You do what's best for the team right there and then. You can't say there's this thing, and it's mad that people still trot it out. It's like, he's just going to do this, he's just going to... How do you know? There's no evidence other than the games that we didn't lose, by the way. Let's not lose sight of the fact he's the only Everton manager in our history who's managed the club for more than one game and didn't lose the game. Didn't lose a single game. He got 5 points out of 9 from Arsenal, Chelsea and Manchester United with half a team. So I don't mind people going, in my opinion, I just don't think he could do it. That's fine. I can't tell you any difference. But all I would say is, I don't think we can make those assumptions, because there's no evidence to back that up whatsoever, either way. There's zero evidence. All I can say is, last time he was given the job for more than 3 games, he did a good job. Will he do it this time? We don't know. Hopefully he will, because we need to start winning football matches. But don't think you can say he's got no long-term strategy, and yet Wayne Rooney might have. That to me is a bit mad.
I think Duncan's has had plenty of time to form a long-term strategy. But the proof's in the pudding, isn't it? How does any manager...
But I don't know.
How does any manager start, though? That's the point, though, isn't it? How does any manager start? They have to be given a job. Frank Lampard was given the Derby job.
Mikel Arteta was given the Arsenal job. And he had no right. Arsenal's one of the biggest clubs in the world. And he was given the Arsenal job with zero experience other than making Pep's tea and massaging his shoulders. That was it. And he got the job.
A good cuppa, though, I heard.
That was a belt.
Very strong.
That's a Ned.
Well, Ned's, I mean, come on. Ned made me a coffee once, and he had 4 teaspoons of coffee in it. And he wondered why I was
all over the gaff.
You know, I was moonwalked down.
But it's like anyone, isn't it? You've got to give someone a chance to do it. And we've tried. I think someone said in the comments before, the only thing we haven't tried is an Evertonian managing in the last few years. We seemingly tried everything else, haven't we? We've had we said it yesterday, we've had the Belgian manager, we've had the Dutch, ex-Dutch and Barcelona manager, we've had the current Real Madrid manager, we've had Fulham's manager now, who's just broke a record. That was Everton's, incidentally. We've had Sam Allardyce. We've had Rafa Benitez, who's won 2 European Cups, and none of them have worked. So
I think you've got to have a manager as well that will push back with the fans. Will challenge the fans a little bit. Speak to them in a way. Duncan can do that. I think Wayne Rooney can do that. In fact, like, Carlo didn't have to do that because of COVID and stuff, so he didn't have to ever push back. But he's so laid back as well, and I don't think he ever. Not saying he didn't like give it his all, and I think a lot of it fell on David. And
Duncan, they in fact those who did all the training. So
I don't think, but I don't think he ever had to push back, because there's nothing to push back on too much on. You need someone who wants the job, who loves the job, who doesn't. Don't forget we had Koeman, who was forever trying to get the Barcelona job while he was the Everton, but on the golf course or in Cheshire Oaks, in TGI's, or whatever. You had the Allardyce, who started to wind fans up after initially a decent sort of start. Like, the football wasn't good, but when it was time to change it, he wouldn't. Silver, who could have been the right fit if he wasn't so insular, if he had projected himself. But
he made the wrong decision.
And then he brought in the squatter.
He had upward trajectory, Silver, in that summer, and that he should have made the right choice. He made the wrong decision, and ultimately it cost him his job.
He made a terrible decision. He brought in someone who had no experience to be his assistant manager,
and who'd made accusations against the football
club. And it never worked. And then obviously Carlo was seen as the right man, and he very much was the right man for a time. But he left us. Let's not forget.
I mean, Marco Silva's. Bobo Morty's at Fulham with him, which was always going on.
But that's a good fit.
But he's not the assistant manager.
Is he not?
Stuart Gray's the assistant manager. Just the first team
best
coach.
Manager. There you go. Maybe he's learned himself then. Maybe he's learned. Maybe that's why he's doing so good at Fulham. It's because he's learned that he needs an experienced fella next to him. Someone who'll say, no, you should be doing this. And that's what he had in the first year at Everton. Second year, he brought in someone who he didn't have that. You know, and he cut Duncan out of it, and it was all very Portuguese mafia in the corner, and Duncan was cut out of it, and maybe he's learned from it, so fair play to him. And he's doing well. I mean, you know.
Yeah. RCO2 says, no, you can't say a massive amount, but the club have an idea which way they want to go, as it's still clear they're number one? I honestly haven't got a clue, mate. Have not got a clue. I don't think anyone's got a clue at the club who they want, and I include Farhad Moshiri and Bill Kenwright in that. Daniel O'Connor says, has Duncan still got Howard's lucky watch, hopefully with the wristband? Yeah, that'll be on Saturday. Richie Dean says, hey lads, it's obvious most of us want Dunk and maybe Rooney with him in the summer, so who would you have, Potter or Dunk? I think would you go Potter with Ashworth?
As my number one, I think I would do.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I love Dunk, but I think if I was given that, because I don't think that opportunity, that window of opportunity, is going to last.
It's not
For Potter and Ashworth. That's not going to last. They're either going to get split apart, or they're going to go somewhere. But I don't think that opportunity's gone long. There's clubs out there who will look, and we've already seen with Newcastle. They should that they're as big a mess as us, but they've got a manager. But I think it'd be very, very tough. And listen, I might be talking on my arse. Right, but if Everton could get a plan together, and that comes down on us first, and how long does it take us to get a plan together? Jesus Christ, we need Hannibal in the A team. That would be my number one, but that's a stretch. That would take some cojones to do that, and say not only are we giving this fella the job, but we're giving this fella the reins, and that means you're restructuring everything in one go. And I don't think they've got the bottle to do that. I don't think they've got the foresight to do that. The Bruce foresight even to do that. I don't think they've got it. So, and when the summer comes, it'll be over. It'll be gone. It'll be done. Be done by then.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? It is difficult. It's you never ever know who's the right man.
No, you don't.
And we've done different things, haven't we? We tried different routes. It hasn't worked. The reality is, I don't know. I think what we all want is, first of all, we want teams to start winning games. We want to enjoy our football club again.
And I say that as my number one. Let me just put a caveat on that, because Duncan could really work for Duncan. It really could. But the problem is, you still got the same problem.
The structure.
The structure behind him is not there, and he can't make that structure because football clubs don't work like that. And that's why the Ashworth Potter thing would work on all the levels. Ashworth is the most respected, I think, guy out there at the moment doing the job, because what he's created.
He's been doing it for 14 years as well. Well, 16 years now.
Duncan is someone that I could see being, like you said before, someone who's the man in the middle, and you put the team around him, and then you get the team behind him. But that doesn't strike me as an idea that Everton will make. They'd rather look at a Lampard, but you've still got the same problems.
Robert Ball says, other thing is managers have to take opportunities. Remember Eddie Howe always been linked with Arsenal, got relegated, and that was that. Moving is a risk for Potter, but so is staying put. Yeah, it's well put, Robert. And Andrew Wallace says, all most Blues want is to go the game and believe who's on the pitch and who's in the dugout actually care and will do everything in their control to get the best result possible. Most Blues believe in Dunk, so he's the only choice. Then who's on the pitch needs to rebuild the faith in them or get out of our club.
But the thing about bringing in someone like Duncan as well is, if the off-the-pitch stuff was really settled and it was working in the right way, he'd be perfect, wouldn't he? He could grow. He could grow into the role with good people around him. It's not like that at the moment, so it's going to be more difficult for him.
Dylan, I know he was interviewed, the interview on Everton TV, and he didn't say about thinking about wanting the job, but he does want the job. I think he's just trying to play it down at the moment and focus on the game. I think, imagine if he goes, I really want this job, and Everton just swerve him. It doesn't look very good, does it? So I think he's trying to just keep his powder dry, to be honest with you. Sharon will take Silva back. Mark D says, and this is a name. What?
Really?
a name that's popped up quite a lot. We are going to finish now, but just very quickly, a name that's popped up quite a lot is Posta. I don't know how to say his name. Celtic manager Posta. Postecoglou,
No.
right? Oh,
No,
wait.
surely not.
But what he said, Mark says, Baz note to Potter, Celtic manager more successful, proven in 3 different countries. He's won multiple titles.
No, you're all right, mate.
I'm just telling you, a lot of people are saying him. I was just giving it to you.
No.
No, okay,
Really?
that's fine. I'm just telling you. That's
Really?
fine. I know you.
No.
All right, you've made your point. You've made your
Really?
point. You don't like him.
I'm not saying I don't like him.
Mm.
Saying he's only just got to Celtic 6 months ago.
Mm.
So, like,
Chris Wilder's me mentioned a lot, but he only took a job 6 weeks ago.
Ask yourself why no one gave Chris Wilder a job after he went after Sheffield United. Not saying that's no. I'm just saying. Ask yourself why.
Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche. I don't know. I don't know about Sean Dyche. Football wouldn't be very good, but he probably would be a bit of like a Moyes. He would be a bit like a Moyes.
But you're right, the footy wouldn't be great because Burnley are terrible to watch. We don't get me wrong, we are terrible as well at the moment.
But he does it on purpose.
But he does it deliberately. You never. It's whether he could.
No, I think he'd be like. I think he'd be boss. He'd be a laugh. They're funny. I like him as a human being.
He's a bit mad, isn't he? He is a bit mad.
He's
funny.
And I also have a sneaky suspicion that he's Ned's dad.
No, I'm not saying that again. Make sure you hit the like button. Really appreciate it. Subscribe. 51 off 56,000.
Yeah.
So if you haven't subbed, just give us a little sub. We do appreciate it.
We're 44,000 off 100,000. So
yeah, but it just seems it seems like 51.
You know, that's like
is more attainable now.
I'd really love that plaque. You know, that plaque that all the YouTubers come out with.
But
I think we work hard, and I think I think once we get.
You know how we get that plaque?
Yeah.
Just start watching videos that other people have made, and we'll just react to it. And then kids just watch it.
Eat like food. Like eat weird food.
Well, letting I'm rubbish at eating food, aren't I? But let Ned eat that kind of food.
Wants to watch Ned.
The problem with Ned eating food is that him and Cam were going to do this big thing on Ned.
Remember when they were going to do big things?
He had ideas of grandeur.
Yeah.
But
shows for us, like, and stuff.
But it lasted about 3 weeks because they probably forgot what they were doing. Right, let's do it. That is it. Thank you very much for joining us. Hit that like button on your way out. 1,000 watching. You all should really hit the like button. Like it if you haven't liked the stream. Like it if you have liked the stream. Like it if you made up Dunk's in charge on Saturday. Like it if you want the Celtic manager. And like it if you want all the other managers we've mentioned. In other words, just hit the like button.
Talksport Torres just said he disagrees with over Dunk because he thinks he'd be like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't agree with that.
Okay, but listen.
No, I just don't agree with that because I think Dunk is...
Lord Nikon, thank you.
Duncan is his own man. That's all I would say. He's not someone who'll just... Problem with Solskjaer was he had no backbone, and I think Dunk has got a backbone, and that's the difference. But time will tell. We'll only ever know this stuff if he ever gets the job. So there's no point. There's been a lot of managers out there. Look at Wayne Rooney at the moment. Wayne Rooney being the manager. Behave yourself. God, if he's going to be a manager, he's doing a great job. There's a lot of people that people always went...
It is difficult, isn't it? Because you never know.
No.
That's ultimately you never know.
Yeah. Right, I'll be back at 5 o'clock over on Patreon. So make sure you join. I think I'm with Ned. So, I mean, already you're
That's
like...
exciting.
Ned brings it.
Ned brings a different energy.
He brings a different energy. It's a different level of intelligence.
Toffee 9, thank you very much. You lads do a great job and probably should be in charge of Everton.
Well, probably. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in charge of Everton, to be honest. I'll stand in the background, pulling the strings.
Advise, yeah. Don't want to be front and centre, but thanks.
No. But I'll be back at 5 o'clock on Patreon. If you want to join us on Patreon, the link's in the description. It's like...
I won't be.
It's like £3 a month. You pay more when you walk in a Costa or a Starbucks and you pick up a coffee and you go, oh, you know what? I'll have a little shortbread as well. A little millionaire shortbread I'll have, right?
£6.93.
£6, right? You get a month's worth of content for just over £3 plus tax.
Plus a forum.
Plus forum.
Discount in the shop.
Discount in the shop to buy these amazing hoodies. So
there you go.
Get involved. Get involved.
Well, thanks for watching.
Love more of you over there because it's a brilliant community. And there's loads more videos and there's loads more live stuff and there's just loads of stuff going on. and it's boss. And also, at the end of February, we're having another live night, exclusive patron night. We had one in November, and we're having another one. And the only way you can go to it is by being a patron. It's a patron night. So if you're a patron, the link will be out soon for the tickets. If you're not a patron, come and be a patron. We want your money.
Lots them cups because they break easy.
Yeah, sorry, we do.
Anyway, thanks very much for joining us.
Don't say they break easy. You know what to buy them.
Not when you're doing that, they'll fall off and smash.
Actually, well, the RR cups are just not available anymore.
Yeah.
The RR, I mean, I literally designed that mug with Toffee art. I literally come up with that mug, Ned. How dare you, Ned, undermine me on my own television show with Baz. Thanks for watching. See you later.